Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face on your screen, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I've been feeling really down the past couple days and just feeling really blah. I've just been going through some emotions with trauma and childhood, and girl, how your parents can really mess you up, okay? Honestly, I just need a little makeup therapy and some girl chat, so grab your makeup, grab your coffee, whatever it is that makes you feel good, and let's just hang out for 10-15 minutes. Like my cup, says love ya, mean it. I got it from Target. I thought it was so cute. This is just some homemade coffee. I actually filmed a video on my Instagram for the coffee that I made, so make sure you guys go watch that video. I just wanted to vent and open up about some things that I've been carrying, especially like trauma from my childhood. Girl, my mom, girl, your parents really messed you up, okay? And it's heavy, but sometimes I feel like talking about it, talking it through, it's like self-care, you know? So that's what we're gonna do today. And I feel like I've cried enough, so I'm gonna try not to cry because I've been crying for the past 3 days. I shouldn't have any more tears at this point. I'm using the Ilia face-based milk. I love this stuff. As you guys can see, it's almost gone. Okay, so first of all, why does putting on skincare feel like I'm just hitting the reset button on my life? Like, it just feels like putting on primer and putting on skincare is just like resetting my whole life, and I'm here for it. Like, yes, please reset my life. Reset this mess, please. Gonna take some moisturizer. This is the Belief True Cream. It's the white one. I absolutely love this one. If you have dry skin, you'll love it. I've been in my feels lately, and I think a lot of it is just from my childhood that just kind of like creeps back in. But then again, a lot of it is from things that happened recently in my life that are still trauma. Do y'all ever feel like certain things just kind of like hit you out of nowhere? Certain memories from your childhood or something from the past just kind of like hits you like a ton of bricks, and now you're back at square one. No matter how much healing you've done, you just went back to that same hurt little kid or hurt person. Like, I'm 30 years old. Well, I'll be 30 next month, and I'm just like, why am I still dealing with this? Why am I still having these feelings? Why? Like, I just don't understand. These are some of my favorite concealers. I have the shade Dune, Fawn, and Flex. Flex I'm gonna use first because it's more like my skin color, so we're gonna go on with that. One thing about me, when I'm sad, I love a good get ready with me. I love a good do my makeup, throw some makeup on, like my problems don't exist. I don't know. It's just something about it that just kind of like resets me and just brings me back to center, and it feels like I'm just blending all my problems away doing my makeup. Like blending my foundation just feels like I'm blending away the drama. I don't know if it worked that easily. I really want to just shave my mustache off, but I'm gonna hold off because I've been doing good with waxing it, so I'm not gonna touch it. But I really just want to go in and just shave it off, you know? This is the Fluff and Fix Brow Wax from Sephora. It is my absolute favorite brow product on the market. I'm obsessed with it. If you like the Rare Beauty one, you'll love this one. I was obsessed with that one, and one day it was sold out, so I grabbed this one, and now this is my like literal all-time favorite. There's a lady that walks her baby every single day, and it's a newborn. I watched her like go from pregnancy to walking her baby, and I'm just in awe. Like, I can't wait to be a mom, to be able to walk my baby in my neighborhood that I bought a house in. Like, I can't wait. I've been struggling trying to get pregnant, so at this point it's just in God's hands. But yeah, I can't wait to be a mom. Like, oh, I'm so excited. It's weird because I'm going through trauma from my parents, but I still want to be a parent. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, well, not even sometimes, but for me, I feel like I know exactly how to parent because of how my parents did not parent, if that makes sense. Like, I know exactly what to do, what not to do. I know exactly what to do because of what my parents did not do, if that makes any sense. You know, one of the hardest things is forgiving someone who hurt you, especially when it's family. You know, like, that just hurts on a whole different level to me. I've been trying to work through that, but sometimes it just feels impossible. Like, some days it just feels like I can't do it. I'm gonna blend everything out with this hourglass brush. I bought this brush because I've seen all the hype on it, and honestly, it's not worth it. Like, I'm actually thinking about returning it. I don't feel like it really does anything. And I'm I'm just like lightly blending it. I don't want to blend it out too much. This coffee is good. This is the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury in the shade 5.5 Tan. I'm gonna apply that all over my face. I love this stuff. This has been like my go-to every day. The routine that I'm doing right now, my go-to everyday throw on and go makeup routine, but still like flawless, like effortlessly. Just gorgeous. Gonna bust out a new brush because my other one, I have this exact same brush, but it's so dirty right now, so I definitely need to clean my brushes. One thing about me when I'm sad, doing my makeup makes me so happy, whether it's doing my makeup or just doing anything that makes me happy, honestly. So it could be doing my makeup, I hope you guys can hear me. It could be doing my makeup, it could be going to the coffee shop, it could be doing my hair, but these are things that really help me when I'm having a hard time. Like blending out my foundation feels like I'm blending away all my problems. Like, please blend away all this drama. Like, blend away all this drama. Take all the drama. Like, I just don't want to deal with it. No, but seriously, if only it really did work like that. Like, imagine you could blend away your drama, like, just by doing your makeup. Girl, when I tell y'all would never see me without makeup. I'm gonna go in with another layer, mainly just in the areas that I feel like I need or that I want a little bit more coverage. Here, maybe a little on my forehead. But seriously, growing up wasn't easy. My relationship with my mom, it wasn't always hard. It wasn't always complicated, but I feel like it got complicated around the time that I turned like 16, 17, and she revealed to me that she basically lied to me my whole life about who my father was. Then it became complicated. Although I'm no contact with my parents, and have been for some years now, I love them, but child, they put me through it, especially my mom. My dad, I didn't really know him. I still don't really know him. I met him for the first time when I was like 17, and I've only seen him a handful of times, and I'll be 30 next month. My base looks so good. See, I'm already starting to feel better, and I'm happy that I'm not crying. So, because girl, when I tell you, my husband was like, should I be worried? Like, are you okay? Like, and I told him, I'm so emotional. I told him, like, you should always be worried anytime your wife is crying. Why would you ask me that? Girl, listen, I'm gonna go in with the shade Flax. No, what shade is this? Fawn. I think this is shade Fawn. I'm gonna go in with the shade Fawn just to conceal these bags, because girl, the way I've been crying, I need coverage, okay? I'm gonna use the Say Cream Bronzer in the shade Tan Bronze. I love this stuff. This is the Sun Melt. You know, one of the hardest things is trying to forgive someone who has hurt you, especially when they hurt you over and over again, and especially when it's family. That just feels impossible. Like, I've been trying to work through it, but some days it just feels impossible. Some days it just feels like I'm never going to get over it. Some days it just feels like the hurt is always going to be there. Some days I miss the people that hurt me. And then some days I'm like, I hate them and never want to speak to them again. Something that I learned about myself a couple of years ago is that I can't hold on to it. Like, I was depressed for like 8-9 years of my life, and it was the most horrible time in my life, and it was for a few different reasons, but a lot of times I never spoke up for myself. And my mom, growing up, anything that I said was considered disrespectful. I wasn't allowed to have an opinion. I wasn't allowed to say how I felt. I wasn't allowed to say, well, Mom, you're wrong. I was never allowed to have an opinion. No matter what I said, it was deemed disrespectful. So that taught me to never speak up for myself or to never talk. And I carried that into my adulthood. And I realized that it was causing me to be depressed, never speaking up for myself, never telling people how I felt, or telling people when they've hurt me or wronged me or hurt my feelings. And not in a combative, confrontational way, but just in a way like, hey, like what you said really affected me, really hurt my feelings. I didn't start doing that until a couple of years ago. And once I started doing that is when I realized, like, oh, I feel better. But I'm the type of person that if I don't say anything, I'm going to hold on to it and it's going to just eat at me. Like I'm going to think about it, replay it over and over again in my head. Like it's just going to, I won't be able to let it go. And for a long time, I was suppressing all of those emotions from everybody that did something to me, said something to me, made me feel some type of way. And I realized I was depressed and I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I don't know. Mainly, I think it's because I'm an empath. Well, also, I've discovered about myself that I'm an empath. You know, there's a difference between being an empath, being empathetic, and having empathy. Those are all different things. An empath is someone who feels other people's emotions. Like you carry other people's baggage. And that's how I would feel. Like I would be, imagine a cup, right? Imagine this cup being filled to 100%. And then you have a friend or a family member that wants to vent to you. So they vent to you and it brings your cup down halfway, right? Brings your cup down halfway. But they left feeling better because they took the half of my energy. So then I'm already going through my own stuff. So that brings me down 75%. And then a family member, a cousin, or a friend, or somebody comes and vents to you again. So now you're down to 0 and everybody else around you is feeling better, but you're down here and you're even in the negative because you still have your own stuff that you're dealing with. So then you pull back, you take a moment, you regroup, and then you come back up. And then the cycle starts all over again. That's me. Hello, nice to meet you. I don't know, but like I was saying, I'm trying to work through that, but some days it just feels impossible. Like there are things that, like I know I'm healing from childhood trauma, but there are also things that have happened recently, like the past 2 to 3 years, that I'm still unpacking. It's crazy how stuff like that just stays with you, right? Like, I don't know. Am I the only one that just gets like stuck in their head about it? Like I get so stuck in my head and wrapped in my head about things, and then they get like over heightened in my brain because I sat and thought about it and replayed it over and over again. Like, girl, it's a lot. Your family and your parents will really mess you up. But on a lighter note, how are we feeling about the makeup? I think it looks really good. I'm not trying anything new today because this is just like my comfort zone. This is what I do on a normal basis. So I'm just keeping it simple, doing what I usually do because I need to feel pretty today. I need to feel like I can conquer the world. And one little thing right now will set me off. Yeah. But yeah, I think a part of growing up is realizing that your parents are humans too, and she's just a girl, okay? Like my mom is just a girl, my dad is just a boy, living this life for the very first time and making mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes really hurt. Like sometimes those mistakes really hurt other people, and whether it was intentional or not, it still really hurts. It's a process trying to figure out how to deal with all of that. And also I feel like for me, because I have so much resentment towards my parents, I feel like it's a process trying to remember, like, your mom got pregnant with you at 14 years old. Like, let that register. Your grandmother was, like, me and my mom lived in a foster home. My grandmother was never really there. She was running the streets. My dad was nowhere to be found. He did not want anything to do with me. My mom was 14 years old on her own. So, like, what would you have done at that age? And I understand that. So I'm having, when I'm angry with my mom about just a lot of things, including something that she just did to me 2 years ago, I have to remember that this is her first time living life. So give her grace and just remember that this is her first time going through life as well. As weird as it sounds, I'm more hurt about what she did 2 years ago more than I'm hurt by what she did when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? What she did when I was a kid, I already processed that. You know, she lied to me and didn't tell me who my father was. Like all of those emotions and things, I processed that already. So yeah, they still hurt, but I'm not angry about that. Like I'm not angry that you lied to me for 17 years about who my father was. I'm not angry about that. I was for a very long time, but I've processed that already. I've already dealt with those emotions. I had to realize she was 14 years old, scared, on her own, pregnant. Nobody knew she was pregnant. You know, like my biological father did not want anything to do with my mom, wouldn't answer the phone. And you know, my mom said that she called his house, and his mother answered the phone and she told him, and she told the mom, and the mom basically said, like, don't call this house anymore. So yeah, I've dealt with those emotions already, but what she did 2 years ago really hurt. And I'm trying to decide if I want to share. I mean, I guess it's not really. My mom has always put men before her kids. And me, the way that I think about it is, my mom's dad was never in her life. And I think that my mom has just always wanted to be loved by someone, maybe by a man. And anytime she got love, she like clung to it and ran with it, not realizing that she was choosing a man over her kids. She chose a man over my brother when we were younger. My brother had to come live with me. She kicked him out for doing something that she also does. The guy that she was dating at the time did not like the fact that my brother smoked weed, and he kicked my brother out over it. But my mom never told him that she was smoking weed behind his back. I don't know. And then with me, I lived in Japan. You guys know I lived in Japan for a while, for a couple years, and it was I can't get this open. I don't know why I closed it like that. Child, I'm not even gonna try. Living in Japan was very hard for me, and me and my husband were really going through a rough time in our marriage and just as individuals. And I was in Japan by myself majority of the time for the 3 years I was there, because he was always deployed. So we were going through a really hard time. We weren't sure if we were going to stay married, all the things, right? Like normal stuff that people go through. Like it's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? Normal people go through these things all the time. So he was getting ready to deploy. So I decided that I was going to go back home and just kind of stay there until he came back, because after his deployment, he was going to be getting out of the military. So I just decided that I was going to come back. We weren't sure if we were going to stay married or anything, but I just decided to come back. I needed to take a break. I needed to get out of the country. It was in the middle of the pandemic, and Japan was on lockdown. We couldn't leave the base. We couldn't go outside. We couldn't do anything. So imagine being isolated in a different country by yourself, away from all of your family and friends. You know no one. A month after getting there, your husband leaves and you're by yourself. It was horrible. So we kind of just said, let's take a break. I left. My mental health wasn't good. And because I was unsure if we were going to stay married, I didn't want to come back to his family's house, because, I felt like that was something that I needed to figure out on my own. And his family is my family, and I absolutely love them, but I did not want to. I felt bad not knowing if I was going to be with him and then be like, oh, I'm going to come stay at your house. Like, I don't know. It was an internal thing that I was battling. They yell at me about it all the time to this day. So I decided to go stay with my mom and her fiance at the time. And one night we got into a huge fight about a car that I gave my mom that she didn't have the title to yet, because we were out of the whole nother story. My mom had already had the car for like 3-4 years now. And anyways, long story short, we got into a really big fight. Not even a really big fight, but like a fight. And her husband literally said out of his mouth, we were talking about a vehicle, and he says out of his mouth, you probably shoot porn when you leave the house anyway with that camera. Red flag, because why was that even on your mind? Why did that even come up? Why did you even feel the need to say that? Why are you even thinking about your wife's daughter in that aspect? So that was one thing. And I was just so uncomfortable. I left for a couple days and I came here. And when I went back, me and John had decided we were going to stay together, all the things. So I go back. I had a key and everything. I go back and I'm like, I'm just going to go pack my stuff. We had already decided that I was coming back here until he came home. I go home and they changed the locks. I was gone for 48 hours. They changed the locks and that was that. And it was, I don't know how much of this I'm going to leave in, but long story short, she chose a man over me again. And that's what it was. Blush is literally my favorite step. It's given life back to my face. And honestly, that's how I'm trying to approach my life lately. Little by little, just adding color, giving life back to my face, back to my life, little by little, one day at a time. Like, that's just so pretty. I don't know if you guys can really see it on camera, but it's definitely there. It's cute. I might do another layer. Even with everything going on, I just want to tell myself that I'm so proud. I'm proud of myself for not giving up. I'm proud of myself for continuing to heal, and not giving up on my healing. Some days it's just baby steps, but that's okay. Some days I can only do almost nothing, but that's okay, because at least we're taking baby steps. Like, just because you're taking baby steps doesn't mean you're not moving. A step is still a step. You know what I mean? So I just have to keep that in mind. Like, it's not going to be easy every day. It's not. It's just not going to be. I just realized, makeup therapy really is a vibe. Even if I was crying 5 minutes ago, okay? Like, it's a vibe. It's such a vibe. By the time I'm done with my face, I feel like I can conquer the world, okay? By the time I'm about to be done with this, I'm feeling like I can conquer the world. I'm about to get up, get dressed, get my day started, and just conquer the world, because that's how I feel. And this is why I love makeup therapy days, makeup therapy sessions. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I used the Hourglass Unreal Liquid Blush in the shade Imagine. That's what I used. And then I'm going to set my face down with the Makeup by Mario translucent powder in the shade 3 Neutral Peach. It's such a good shade. This powder is so good. It's such a game changer. I'm obsessed with this powder. Setting the rest of my face with my multitasking powder from Sephora collection. This is in the shade Tan 40. They reformulated their shades, so I don't know what's what now, but yeah. My camera died, so I just went ahead and finished my makeup while I let it charge for like 5 minutes. All I did was just add bronzer, blush, and mascara. That's it. But we're gonna finish off strong. Actually, I hate my bangs. I just want y'all to know, I just can't seem to get it right. Like, just lay like I don't want it in my face, but I want it in my face. I don't know. It's just, I hate them, but whatever. whatever. I'm not even gonna deal with that for the day. Lips just always makes me feel a million times better, especially when I find a lip that's like my perfect color, which is this right here. This is the Ilia lip sketch hydration crayon in the shade Genre. I'm obsessed with this. It's so good. Like, I feel like it's like my perfect lip color. Oh, just kind of like, lips always just feels like the cherry on top to me. Like, yes, girl, I'm back. I'm better. Even though I may have cried throughout this and got emotional throughout this, my lips look good. But for real, y'all, if you've been feeling like this, just remember that it's temporary. Life is hard sometimes, and we have to go through these things to change and become better versions of ourselves. But we got this, one day at a time, okay? We're not alone. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm about to go get dressed and go sit at the coffee shop and edit this video, because if I stay in the house, I'm gonna be crying all day. Love you guys. Bye.